Hi, this is your host Swapnil Bhartiya, and we are here at Open Infrastructure Summit in Denver, Colorado. And today we have with us Amy Wheelus. You are VP of Network Cloud at AT&T. So, yes. Amy, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
First of all, how are you doing today?
Doing great. It's been a great summit.
Since we're talking about summit, so what has been your experience so far?
So I really like the whole message that came out of the keynote, and it's carried through the summit around how we have to be open and open source, and how together in the community and across communities we have to work together and collaborate so that we can work on common problems and really move the innovation faster because of that.
Right. I've been covering open source for almost 16 years, and it's good to see players like AT&T, they're talking about open source, because traditionally you won't hear players like that. Yeah. But we live in a software-defined world, so things are changing. So can you quickly talk about open source at AT&T? Actually, before going that, why open source matters to AT&T?
So if we were having this conversation 5 or 6 years ago, I would have probably not been here, for one, because we weren't a very big player, and two, I probably would have laughed because it really wasn't what we were working in. I mean, we've been involved in open source for many, many years. Way back when Linux was being developed, and UNIX before that, and different technologies.
UNIX came from AT&T, if you
exactly.
Yeah, so.
But we didn't really, we weren't as active as we are today, and it's really important for us because we can work together in a community and we can solve problems together. If we went and just sequestered our folks, we've got some of the best and brightest in the world, but we would be only moving at the speed we could move. When we work together, we can move so much faster. And so our return we get from participating and being an active participant in open source is really huge. We launched ONAP jointly with China Mobile and their OpenO product, and our eComp product, put it together and became ONAP. And it's now there are service providers that are signed up and working in that community that represent over 70% of the world mobile subscribers. So it's really grown, and we're able to solve problems faster because of that collaboration.
Yeah, if you look at ONAP, it was the internal work that AT&T was doing. It was eCom project.
Yes.
It was white paper, and then you released all that work. So it's incredible, to share this. I'll just go back to, you mentioned some players, other players, telecom players. Mm-hmm. Your marketing teams might be competing with them in the market, but your developers and engineers are working together too. So it's also a cultural change.
It's a cultural change, and it's also, we don't want to compete at the infrastructure layer. The Open Infrastructure Summit and what we've been doing in this area, and even within the ONAP areas as well, these are infrastructure types of technologies. ONAP moves up more into the service layer, but especially down in the OpenStack, open infrastructure world, this is infrastructure. We're not going to compete there. We need to solve these common problems and help move the industry forward. So if we can come up with common infrastructure, then the VNF providers, the CNF providers that will come in the future, they have something that they know they can work for.
Right. If I just ask you, okay, what are the 5 key benefits, of being part of open community? Like, okay, you got your R&D because you're taking a lot of your competitors, engineers are working on the project that you benefit from, right? So can you talk about that why it matters in today's world? Because when we go to any event, every company is doing open source.
So you hit on one. I could not afford to develop the scale of what we're consuming from the open source community. We are active contributors, and we contribute, and we're a top 10 contributor in most of the last releases of OpenStack, but I couldn't do it all. And so it gives us a financial benefit. Really big benefit is the speed. It gives us a speed benefit because the structure set up for that continuous integration, continuous delivery in the community, and so we get that advantage. We also, if you look at security, a lot of times people are concerned about security in open source, but in the security world, there's so many more eyes looking at the code. If I'm getting code from only one person, one organization, there are very fewer people looking at that code. Now, you may say maybe it's more contained and more, but if it's out in the open source world, the open source community is testing it. everybody that's using it's testing it, so there's much more opportunity to make sure that we don't have any security vulnerabilities. Another thing is, like you said, I can use those strong development teams on other things that do differentiate us at the service layer, at the products we're delivering for our customers. So just great benefits being in open source.
Yeah, as Linus Torvalds' law is there, given enough eyeballs, all bugs are shallow, so there are enough people to look at your bugs, and they will be more than willing to help and fix it. Open source, we talked about a lot of benefits of open source, but it has some challenges also.
Yes.
You have to change the culture of your company as well. A lot of people have been working there for like 30. I mean, AT&T is a very old company, So can you talk about quickly challenges that comes with open source and how you tackle them?
So I will say there were, at first there were probably some skeptics, but it helped that our leadership was 100% behind us. John Donovan has been a great leader and great visionary. Andre Fuich as well. They both have pushed us and made it okay to be in the open source community. Made it not just okay, but a mandate. Let's go work in this space. Let's go get the benefits of it. And so that's freed up the culture to be able to go work in that space and understand and learn from it. It's also made us more attractive to that younger developer coming to work for us, because they see what we're doing in the open source communities and they see how they can contribute. That's the only way they know how to operate. Mm-hmm. Because if you look in the schools and as they've grown up through the schools, group projects and working together and collaboration, it's how they've been raised. So it makes sense for us.
Excellent, yeah. Let's just change the topic and gear for a second. As a consumer of latest tech, whether it's VR or whatever, one of the limitations that I feel is bandwidth. So 5G is something which is giving me a lot of relief that, okay, because a lot of innovation, we are holding it back because we cannot, like Netflix came out with that show where you can choose your ending, but the bottleneck is bandwidth.
Right.
So 5G is going to change everything. So first of all, just give us an overview how 5G will change our world, because you have more insight than I can have.
So 5G, the technology is going to enable, massive device connectivity, ultra high speeds, and you might have seen, just last weekend we reached 2 gig in our 5G network, which is tremendous speeds, ultra low latency, which will allow some of those virtual reality types of applications, not just for entertainment, but for the industry and for industrial applications and medical applications. There are whole industries that we haven't even thought about that will be evolved because of this. 4G brought about, things like Uber and Airbnb and things of that nature. I can't even imagine some of the things that will come with 5G.
Right. And what role does open source, because what open source did was it kind of democratized a lot of things, black boxes were gone and software-defined, networks allowed you to. So what role does open source play in enabling or, kind of bringing 5G as a reality?
So today, our 5G network that's live in parts of 19 cities, it is running on my network cloud, my team's network cloud, that is, it is an OpenStack cloud, and it is powered and deployed and lifecycle managed by Airship. So everything that we have as the infrastructure supporting that 5G packet core is open. And so, it is a tremendous part of what we're doing to deliver 5G. We're also in our labs organization working with the O-RAN community, looking at virtualizing the RAN side of things. That's a little bit farther behind than where we are in the virtualization in the core, but it's going to come. And so as you virtualize it, it'll move forward. In the open source world, we're solving it together. And you're seeing standards bodies and open source communities coming together to work together.
Yeah, you touched upon another key point, standards. In early days, companies would go to a standard body, ISO or whatever, to now open source is creating a standardized, kind of protocols or technologies. So how does that help?
It just helps because it puts everything in the open, and it drives, not only is there open source software, we're getting to the point where we have a project going on called Open Road'em, which is driving and delivering open interfaces in the optical space. In the past, you had to have proprietary, you had to terminate an optical signal to change to a new vendor. And now we've got open standards where they're interoperating, and so you don't have to do that. And that's going to allow much more flexibility in the optical space, because the optical space for the big backhaul isn't going to go away. The optical space in the LAN, maybe 5G is virtualizing that, but as you get to the big backhaul, we're going to still need the 100 gig, the 400 gig, and whatever comes after that size pipes.
Now let's switch from the technology to people quickly, and culture. What internal changes you had to do within AT&T because you're using a lot of open source and you're releasing a lot of it. There is like a legalization involved, because what code your developer can touch or not touch, because there are different licenses. So can you talk about how you change the internal culture of AT&T to make it more pro open source?
So the first thing we did was really focus our people on reskilling for the future. What are the skills of the future, and how can we get those and make those available to them? We partnered with Udacity to create nanodegrees in many of the forward-looking technologies, and we've made those available for our employees to go take and get those nanodegrees. We also partnered with universities like Georgia Tech. We partnered with for their online master's degree in computer science, and we have made that available at reasonable pricing for our employees, so that they can go learn from the best and the brightest in the industry, and get those future forward-looking degrees. And because of that, it also helped us retain the people we had, shift people who were in technologies that may be going away into new technologies, and also acquire new people, attract new people to come to us. One of the beauties of open source is when you are working in the community, you meet a lot of really strong developers and programmers, and you get to see their code even before you may want to talk to them about coming to work with you.
Right, because everything is out there in open.
It's all in the open.
I think we touched some very core topic. Is there anything else you would like to talk about in Touchstone?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, we covered a lot in this.
It's an exciting time to be in this industry, and I think that the more we work together to collaborate on these common problems, the better we'll be able to create the new and innovative opportunities for our customers.
Right. So we are building an open world using open source technologies.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you, Amy, so much for talking to me today, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.